The book says how design can transform your life, your business, and maybe even your world. That's the promise of this book. Why don't you just tell us how?
As I worked on this book, I started to think about design, because people like Bruce think about it this way. I started to think about it as problem solving. And I think of it really as creative problem solving.
It's the process of producing specific outcomes rather than random. That movement from a world that is random to a world that is our choice, that's when it becomes design. Almost your entire life is lived inside of a designed envelope. So you're experiencing your reality through a designed interface. And we're still mostly unconscious of it. And when I started to realize that, I realized we need to think about this outside of the design professions. And we need to think about this in the boardrooms of the world, in the in the halls of power. We need to think about this philosophically. We need to think about it in public. We need a public discourse about our capacity to shape a new reality.
I think that's an interesting idea, that design belongs in the boardrooms and at the senior levels, as well as everywhere else.
Actually, one of the things I'm doing there, I think, with business people is I'm bringing it down to a pretty basic level. I'm kind of writing the primer on it a little bit, like for business people who want to really get what design is about, what its potential is.
Right.
What you make, the culture that you build around it, the story that it represents, the real purpose of those, of the things that you make, that becomes more and more critically relevant. The successful businesses that we talk about and that have captured our imagination, like Apple and Google, they have applied design to make those successes.
So you need value add in what you're doing, and you're going to get to the value add through creative problem solving.
We take a situation and we shape it in some way that is worth more than when we started. I live at the intersection of art and science. I think of myself as an art scientist. Everything that we do has to come from the world, the rational world of, quantification, science, provability. It has to have a technical, scientific base to what it is. Right. But it only succeeds if it's art. It only succeeds if it is compelling.
Right.
And compelling means that it has an aesthetic interface. This is where Warren comes in, because I use terms like aesthetic interface. It has an aesthetic interface that is delightful. The real revolution of possibility that's happening is not that there are a few talented people. It's that there are millions of people with tools connected to one another.
Right.
And so the possibility that we have for imagining our future rests with us.
I share and appreciate your passion for this subject, and I think everybody in this audience feels the same way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.